Hi everyone. This is a lesson on how to write an equation of a line using point-slope form. Now, if you remember, the two things you definitely need to write an equation of a line is a point, right, like an x and y coordinate pair, and a slope. Okay, so knowing that, right, I want to first prove to you what this formula is before I just tell you the formula. So the formula for slope, right, m equals, is the change in y, right, y minus y1, and minus over the change in x. Okay, so the way to solve this equation, or maybe I'm going to rewrite this equation, is to put the m over 1 to make it a fraction. If you look at what I did, I've created a proportion, right? And we all know how to solve a proportion. You can cross multiply. Now, when you cross multiply, remember, if you have more than one variable, you are going to have 1 times y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now you're going to have just y minus y1 on the left side, right? Because when you distribute the 1, you just have the same thing, equals, and I'm not going to distribute the right side, I'm just going to leave it as m times x minus x1. And this is my formula that we call point slope. This is a really important formula, so please make sure you highlight it in your notes and memorize it for the future. So just to clarify, the proof that you just saw was just a proof. So it's great if you understood it, but if you didn't, don't be frustrated. It's okay. I just want you to know that you need to memorize this formula, which is, again, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And we're going to talk more about what each of these pieces mean in the next example. So here's an example that asks us to write the equation in point-slope form for the line through the given point with the given slope. So remember that all you need is a point and a slope, right? So they give you the point and they give you the slope of this line, and we need to write an equation for it. Okay? So I'm going to write my point-slope formula. So all I'm going to do is plug it right into this equation. Okay? So let's see. This point right here is going to be x1 and y1, right? That's my ordered pair. So I'm going to go to my equation and I'm going to plug in for y1, which is going to be 1, and then equals, I can plug in 2 for slope, and then I'm going to plug in -6 for x. I'm going to rewrite this equation, right, because x minus -6 is the same thing as saying x plus 6. Now it looks a little nicer. I'm going to take this example one step more, okay, and we're going to try to write it in y equals mx plus b form so that I know how to graph it. So what do you think we need to do? Hopefully you said that we need to distribute, okay, on the right side of the equation. So now we have y minus 1 on the left side, and I have -2x minus 12 on the right side. How do I make it so that I have y equals mx plus b? Well, I'm going to add 1 to both sides of my equation, and now I have y equals -2x minus 11. This is really helpful, right? Because now you know that the slope is -2 and my y-intercept is -11. And now I can graph this equation. Let's try one more example. What if my point is 4 comma negative 2 and my slope is negative 1? So again, until I remember and memorize my point slope form, I'm going to write it right on top of the page. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All we are doing is we're just plugging it into this equation that we will have memorized by the end of the week. So let's go. Y minus y1, which is negative 2, equals, the slope is negative 1, x minus 4. Now I'm just going to rewrite the left side so that it's just going to be y plus 2, right? Because minus a negative 2 is the same thing as saying plus 2. And then I'm going to distribute the negative 1 to my x minus 4. So I'm going to have negative x plus 4. Again, to get it into the slope-intercept form that is a little bit more helpful, we are going to subtract both sides by 2, and I'm going to have y equals negative x plus 2. Now I know that my slope is negative 1 and my y-intercept is 2, and I can graph this equation. Okay, so now the example gives you the equation in point slope form, and we need to graph the equation. So we're going to rewrite it in slope intercept form. So first I'm going to distribute the 1/2 to x minus 2. So we're going to have on the right side 1/2 x minus 1, since 1/2 times 2 is 1. And then I just have y minus 5 on the left side. And to write it in y equals mx plus b form, I'm going to add the 5 to both sides. And now I have y equals 1/2 x plus 4. I know from this equation that my y-intercept is 4 and that my slope is 1/2. So B, right, which is the y-intercept, is where you begin your graph. So I start at 4. My slope is 1/2, which says go up 1 over 2. So that's another point. I can also go down 1 and over to the left 2. So I have 3 points, and now I can connect all of them to make a straight line. And that is the graph of y minus 5 equals 1/2 times x minus 2. Now if you want to, you can pause this video now and try this example on your own. Right? Again, you're going to graph the equation y plus 4 equals 5 times x plus 2. Alright, if you want to though, you can follow along with me. So again, we are going to distribute the 5. So we have y plus 4 equals 5x plus 10. And then we're going to subtract the 4. So now we have y equals 5x plus 6. So now I know my slope is 5, or 5 over 1, and b equals 6. So now I begin my graph at the y-intercept, which is 6. Now this graph doesn't let me go up 6, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down 6 and then over to the left. Go down 5 and over to the left 1, right? Because my slope is 5. And that is the equation of my line. So for the final example, if you want to try it again on your own, go ahead and pause this video and give it a try. Otherwise, I'm going to walk you through it one more time. Okay, so again, we're going to try to graph this equation. So I'm going to put it in y equals mx plus b form. Now, I'm going to distribute the negative. Remember, if there's no number there, it's like having a negative 1, right? You're distributing a negative 1 to each of these numbers. So I'm going to have y plus 5 on the left side equals negative x plus 2. Okay? Now finally, I'm going to subtract 5 to both sides of the equation so that I have y equals negative x minus 3. I know from this equation that my slope is negative 1 and my y-intercept is negative 3. So I begin my graph at negative 3 at the y-intercept, right? And I'm going to go down 1 and over to the right 1. That's what a slope of negative 1 is. I can also go up 1 and to the left 1. And now I have a downward sloping line which confirms that I have a negative slope, and now I am done.